Okay folks, welcome back to another Express Tech Shorts. Today we're going to be making a bit of a fall syrup. So this is just going to be a simple syrup with some spices added in it. A simple syrup is just simply sugar and water. Now there's generally two types. You can have a 1 part sugar to 2 parts water. That's a bit of a more diluted syrup. Or a 1 part sugar to 1 part water. It's a bit of a stronger syrup. Today I'm going to be making a bit of a stronger syrup in terms of sweetness. So I have 250 grams of water just heating up over the stove. I'm going to add 250 grams of sugar, just like so. Then I'm going to grab a wooden spoon, just give it a stir. Now the other thing you're going to want to do for a fall syrup, and you can do any spices you like. I'm just picking some that I find to be pleasing. Some cinnamon, just throw it in there whole. Some cloves. Just a couple, because cloves are pretty overpowering as far as spices go. Some allspice. And I'm using whole spices. You're not really going to want to use... And some cardamom pods. Cardamom pods. You're not really going to want to use powdered spices, because when we strain this mixture after we finish making it, the powdered spices, the ground spices, are going to be really quite a pain to get rid of. So now that I have it all in there, all my aromatics, I'm just going to continue stirring it. I want to make sure the sugar doesn't stick to the bottom. I want to make sure it all dissolves into the water so that I can simmer it with the spices and really capture their flavor. Now if you want to do this with vanilla, you can do it with vanilla. You can make pretty much any flavor of syrup you want, but we're going into fall, so I'm making a fall one. So again, I'm just stirring it back and forth, kind of scraping the bottom with the spoon. I just want to make sure that there's no sugar burning on there. And what you can do is you can just bring your spoon, scrape across the bottom, bring it up. If you don't see any sugar granules sitting on your spoon, that's probably fine. So now, that's on medium heat, and I'm just going to let that baby sort of hang out and infuse. So I'll bring it a little higher so you can get a simmer going. But essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your simmer going, and then you're just going to want to let it, put a lid on it and let it steep almost like a cup of tea for about 15 or 20 minutes. And that will really infuse the syrup with the flavors of the spices you added. And then once that's all infused, we'll go over the straining next. But for now, I'm just going to let this come to a bit of a boil and then bring it right down and slap the lid on and let it infuse. Okay folks, so I'm seeing some bubbles start to pop up. Take the heat right down. You might want to take it off the heat even, because if sugar starts to boil, it can be pretty unruly. And then I'm going to cover this, and we'll be back in 15 minutes for the straining procedure. Okay folks, so we're back after letting this steep for about 15-20 minutes. And now what you're going to do, it's pretty well cooled off. So you're going to grab a funnel and your favorite bottle. I'm just using an old liquor bottle. And you're going to put it like so, and then just pour through. And now at this point, if you were using powdered spices, you would have a really hard time filtering them out. Whereas, because we're not, it's pretty easy. And sometimes one of your spices gets caught in the funnel. And for that, our solution is going to be a chopstick. Get it through there. There we go. Now you can strain out pretty easily with something like this if you don't want the spices to sit in the syrup bottle. Personally, I like it when they sit in the syrup bottle. I find it brings more depth of flavor, you know, as time goes on. So I'm quite a fan of that. But if you don't want that to happen, it doesn't have to. And then for the cinnamon sticks, just kind of pop those in. And there we are, all done. So now cork it up or throw a little pouring spout on it. I mean, it's sugar and water, right, for the most part. It's pretty shelf stable. And that's like a fantastic, you know, you could add more spices of one, more of the other, less of one, what have you. If you really want to get a bit of a deeper flavor profile, you could add ground spices. Again, just be careful when you're straining it out, because those will clog up a filter pretty easily. But that's all there is to it. Fall syrup. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.